Have you ever wondered if a penile tension ring, constriction band, or cock ring is for you? I'm Dr. Rena Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and today we're going to talk all about penile tension rings or constriction bands. These are actually sophisticated devices that are designed to enhance erections and improve sexual performance. In this video, I'm going to review what these are, and I'm going to review 6 popular products and talk about the science behind them, the pros and cons based on both research and real-world experiences. Now, before we jump into the individual products, let's lay down some basic groundwork. Erectile dysfunction affects millions of men worldwide. And while medication is a great option, a lot of people don't want to take medications. And constriction bands can help. They work essentially by preventing blood from leaving the penis, helping men maintain an erection. So if you remember from some of my past videos, when you have an erection, blood flows into the penis and stays there. And that's how you get an erection. How the erection goes away is that blood flow leaves through the veins of the penis and goes back into the body. And so these rings will actually prevent the blood from leaving the penis. Basically, what they do is they're constricting the blood flow at the base of the penis. They're preventing that blood flow from leaving, allowing you to maintain that erection for longer and potentially have a firmer and fuller erection when you have one. Now, when we talk about erectile dysfunction, there's 2 big types of vascular erectile dysfunction. One is arterial insufficiency, which is very common due to things like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. Another is venous leak, which occurs because the veins become unhealthy and potentially due to trauma. And we're finding more and more that this usually is both things combined in men who have erectile dysfunction. So these bands help with men who have venous leak. But other men can also find them helpful with managing anxiety around sexual performance, even if you don't have erectile dysfunction, or you might notice a stronger and firmer erection when you use them. Now, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of constriction bands on the market, and what I generally say is you want to buy a constriction band that is meant to be used for the penis, ideally using silicone-like materials that don't have allergic reactions, that are easily removed from the penis are really, really important. I never want you to use a household object to constrict the penis, like a metal ring. I have a story from when I was a trainee that I will never forget. Well, there's 2 stories actually, but I'll tell the first one. One time this guy came in with something on his penis that was stuck, and it looked like one of those case construction nuts, but it was really thick and dense. And so he put it on, and then the rest of his penis became swollen. This is what happens if something is left on the penis and not removed. The penis gets swollen, and then you cannot take it off. And so he came in to get that removed. We had to literally call the fire department to get different instruments like a jiggly saw to get it taken off. I mean, it was really traumatic for him. And, I think that ultimately, again, using things that are designed for the penis is so, so important. Another time is someone took a Coke bottle and they cut it and they used the ring from the Coke bottle. And again, same thing happened, got super swollen, and then had to come to the ER to get it removed. So guys, I really love you. I don't want to see you in the ER having to go through this because it's not fun. And ultimately, it can lead to serious injury. A lot of times people do this and they're altered. And so it might be like several hours or even a day before they come to the ER. And by that point, you can have actual damage to the tissues. Okay, so back to talking about constriction bands. They can be used in different types of situations. So one is if you have no erections at all, you can use a penis pump or a vacuum erection device like we talked about to create an erection and then apply the constriction band, which allows you to maintain the erection. I've talked about vacuum erection devices before, so make sure to check out that video to learn more about some different options. If you can achieve a partial erection through medication or stimulation, a constriction band can help you boost it to full strength. And so a very simple and inexpensive way to do that. Now, if you are having full erections, you can still use a constriction band that maybe has some accoutrements, like a vibrating ring that might increase pleasure or sensitivity. Now, these are not medical grade devices. They're more like toys, but they are still fun. Bottom line, what are the pros and cons? Pros are that they're non-invasive, it's drug-free, it's relatively inexpensive, It can improve erection firmness and duration for some, and it might even enhance sort of sensations during sex. There's also some rings that are out now that are constriction bands, but they can also track your erectile health data, like how firm the erection gets and things of that nature. They can be used with or without a partner. Some of them you can put on before you even get a full erection. Now, cons are that they might not be effective for everybody. Sometimes you need them to be very tight, and this can then cause discomfort, pain, or numbness. And you have to figure out the right size for you, right? Because if it's not something that's very adjustable and they have different sizes, you'll have to figure out which size works best for you. It can sort of interfere with spontaneity, and sometimes when you use them because of that tight ring, you might notice that the ejaculation doesn't come out. Now, that's not dangerous, but if you're trying to have kids or that bothers you, then that's a downside. And lastly, if you fall asleep with it or use it when you're altered and you forget to take it off, you can have real injury. So the most important thing to remember is time. You never want to wear a constriction band for more than 30 minutes. Now, there are some that have been studied for use for longer periods of time, but they will say that very clearly on the labeling. Because if you leave it on, you might get pain, bruising, nerve damage, or even, like I said, tissue damage. Now, also, if you have certain medical conditions, like ones that affect sensation, so you might forget you have it on, if you have any blood clotting disorders, if you've had a priapism before, where you've had a long erection lasting more than 4 hours, or if you're on blood thinners, this is probably not the right option for you, and make sure you talk to your urologist first. When you use them, you always want to use lubricant with them because it will make it more comfortable and still just as effective. Now let's talk about the different types of options. The first type of ring that you're going to see is an O-ring. These are simple, they're usually pretty cheap, and they're pretty effective. They're really good for guys who have mild ED or maybe someone who wants to have enhanced sensation. Sometimes they can be difficult to apply and remove, but again, using lubricant can help quite a bit. So let's talk about the first option that I have here with me. One example of an O-ring is the Osbon VenoSeal. So the Osbon VenoSeal is an adjustable constriction loop, or an O-loop, and essentially you place the loop at the base of the penis that provides pressure and prevents blood outflow. These are typically adjustable, so they're easy to figure out what size you need or how tight you need it to be. However, you might need some trial and error. You might start doing it a little bit less tight and realize you need it a little bit more. Now, this is made with silicone, so generally we don't say use silicone-based lubricants with silicone products because it can degrade the silicone. So generally use water-based lubricants. Do realize that water-based lubricants evaporate. So if it starts getting more uncomfortable after, 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it may mean that you need to apply more lubricant. Most people find it effective and comfortable, while others feel like they feel clumsy using it, it's inconvenient, and sometimes the device gets loose with lubrication. As of right now, these range in price from about $24 to $30, depending on where you buy them. So there are other types of rings available that are sort of more advanced from these sort of basic ones. Next up is called the Firm Tech Performance Ring. Now this is made from a soft medical grade elastomer that avoids the pinching discomfort that some people describe. It also has a really simple hook and loop closure, which means it's super easy to apply and remove. Place it at the base of the penis and adjust it until you feel comfortable. Now this is applying pressure at the base of the penis and the testicles. So it has 2 loops. You can put it around the penis as well as the testicle. Again, doing the same thing by maintaining blood flow and preventing that blood flow from leaving. Now, I do like this hook and loop closure, which allows it to be really easy to put on and take off. The biggest complaints I've seen with this is that people say sometimes it's a little difficult to adjust because of that hook and loop closure, but ultimately it is really soft and comfortable, so people do tend to like that. The FirmTech ring as of today is about $60 US. If you use my coupon code FirmTech, has graciously offered 10% off, firmtech.com/Rena. Another type of ring that's sort of optimized for a little bit more comfort is called the Eddy by Giddy. Now this is a grooved ring that has specifically space for the urethra, which makes it more comfortable because that's where people feel that pinching is when it's putting pressure on the urethra. This is a FDA Class 2 registered medical device, and it has this unique horseshoe shape that helps it avoid constricting the urethra. And it comes in 4 different sizes, and you can figure out what your size is, and then the company will offer you free resizing if you need it. Now it has ridges on it that make it more sort of pleasurable for both you and the partner. And so you place this device around the base of the penis and you use a different type of tension band. You can use either the stronger tension band or the looser tension band depending on how strong you want the constriction. Now it does require require a little bit more dexterity than a simple ring because you need to hold the device in place and attach the band. It's made of silicone and generally it's pretty comfortable. Some people do have a little bit of a learning curve with this, but ultimately it is sort of a great option. They do offer, if you order the wrong size, they'll send you a new size completely free. The downside is that it is a little bit costlier than other rings. It's about $288. Another type of different kind of ring is the Ziala constriction ring. And this is also a clinically proven solution. They've done research studies on this one as well, and it helps with venous leak. So the interesting thing about this is it has a non-slip technology so that the ring doesn't move during intercourse. It has a band that attaches to an adhesive pad on the back. So the ring is placed at the base of the penis. You pull back on the band, it attaches to a adhesive pad on the back. Now the nice part is people do see an improvement in penile length because you're pulling back a little bit, and generally speaking, people tend to really like it. And the good news is most of the reviews for this product are pretty positive. However, some people do have some irritation with the pad itself. I always tell people anytime you're using adhesive pads, you want to use maybe some Flonase spray on the site, which can help prevent any irritation. The Ziala, as of right now, is about $50 and includes 10 of those adhesive pads, so you do need to reorder those. So the next up is a vibrating penis ring, and the one I have for you is the Leven's Dymo vibrating penis ring. Now this incorporates vibration for added stimulation. This is generally for men and couples who want enhanced pleasure. They typically have a battery life and intensity levels and lots of different variations to it. Now this one is Wi-Fi enabled, so you can use your phone to help control pleasure remotely. Now this again is more for pleasure rather than specifically erectile function. Now it offers, you can customize the vibration, you can customize the power, you can use it by yourself in different variations, and you can even use it at a distance. It's really designed to be comfortable and discreet, and it also can enhance erections and potentially prolong stamina. So you use the ring, you place it at the base of the penis, and this part here vibrates, and that can be controlled via a smartphone app.